I believe that respecting cultures and diversity is the basis of our existence in the world. Probably everybody here agree with me. And this is probably the most important idea for the better world. Please take a look what my students think about idea. That will be the last project today. Thank you very much. That was an honor to share some thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Agnieszka, for the inspiring presentation and keynote speech. We move now to our next keynote speaker, Professor Dugan Arsalan from Istanbul Medinet University.
Going to reflect here, right?
Yes. Yes, they will.
Yes. My sound is coming, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I would like to first of all again thank the Professor Arafat El-Naim to provide such a nice, beautiful place and the organizations. And Professor Ayşe Derya Kahraman. And today I have some images, protest graphics in design. My presentation will be different than Christopher, Arafat, and maybe Agnieszka, because I want to do a little bit, since you have the students who have the art and design history class, yes, that I will little touch that subject.
Okay, guys, pay attention to this thing.
So this presentation is not about these guys, they already know it. So it's about the backside. Because this is an important, and you are in the class of first, second, and third, and fourth year, it's important to understand the design, that you could not just serve for the public, for some organization, but also for your own ideas and feelings. Design, especially I'm talking about in the context of the graphic design and the visual communication design, that based on the producing the design works that persuade the people, right? And people to buy the products and the services. This is we have been teaching in design schools, that you guys, come up with the ideas of a problem, and you try to solve the problem for the benefit of your customers. A designer gets education to solve all kinds of design problems, and then you learn from psychology to philosophy, communication science, and complex technological programs that you learn from the school. This is right now, design education is on the base on this process. Design become the bridge. This is what we have been learned, selling and buying, which the core of the capitalism. Buying, selling is the core of the capitalism. So company managers and the employers use the designer ideas. Actually, they use your idea, your imagination, your efforts, that whatever they have, and like the cat food, stomach medicine, detergent, hair care, toothpaste, aftershave, all kind of products that you guys as a designer, when you graduate, this is your purpose as a designer to do this. So, however, designer can be voice of disadvantaged people who cannot speak up in terms of issues, social issue, political issue, economic issue, and this is also that we can do that too. A designer can take a break from the intense sales-oriented from the advertising industry. Advertising industry based on as I said, having the product, and designer work on to solve the problem issue and sell them to the targets. So they can show their will and creative power for more valuable and livable world as a designer. Governments and the leaders can become helpless, sometimes paralyzed by certain social issues, such as the domestic violence, hatred, racism, drought, and etc. I mean, now in the world, we are living right now in a war that governments cannot sometimes solve the issue. So designers can give and boost the people for hope, resilience, energy, and vision through their creative and imagery. So hope is important in order to survive. I'm not saying that you quit the consumer-based design work, but I'm saying is that as a designer, you guys, when you graduate, while you work for the company, but at the same time, you could do some artwork and you can help the community who cannot express themselves. So you can be bridge for them. So designer can be the voice of the oppressed and the silent masses. And designer can comment his and her ideas and feeling for the graphic images. So what is the protest graphic? Protest graphic is referred to use of design element and visual communications and technique convey the messages and ideas. Right now, as I said, 4 years of students who focus on the design problem, solving the design problems, but at the same time, as far as I know, some professors, some teachers, as far as I follow, they give some assignment to express, like we did here, I Imagine exhibition, and not as selling or the buying product, is the people who, when you look at the artwork, right, all of you guys look at some students or some professional express their ideas. This is what we wanted actually for the protest graphic. So strong imagery, bold typography, and bright colors that often we see in the works of the protest graphic. Because we want to grab the attention and convey the sense of energy. This is some poster is informative. These are the not I'm talking. I am talking about the strong energy and some statement. So use sample and iconography in a meaning context, not abstract, obscure, visual complexity. There are some, this can be discussable, maybe in a panel later on, but in a graphic, protest graphic, you need to be a little bit clear with what you want to say, not too much abstract ideas. So recognizable and strong specific message within the protest subject is the necessary. Protest graphics can be poster, mural, and sign, billboards, flyer. So in this case, you don't have to do poster, but if you have the ability to creative person, then you can use in a different technological method that will express your idea. So in this presentation that I will focus, that I will show some poster images that is this in the context. But before we get into this idea, this is my observation that how we came to the protest idea is an image way. And this is the political cartoon in 15th century to 20th century. And 20th century design poster is more selling and buying. And then after the World War I and II merged together, which I will show you right now. This is the 50-30. This is the devil playing monks, Martin Luther. The guy, he's criticized and challenged the Catholic Church. And this is here, the image is that the guy over there is the devil, and this is the Martin Luther representing the symbolically. So the criticism, but this is in a more cartoon way, not as exactly at that time, it's a poster mind. And then this is the Hieronymus Bosch painting. So art and humor and criticism also merge here too, not just in the design-wise, but also in art-wise. And this is another work of the Peter de Bruegel, and still we see some, even the art, that the criticism is happening. And this is the Archimboldo's painting, and these Renaissance times of the people who really didn't express the people's ideas. Mainly they painted the people in a palace or some official people. This is the caricature of the Louis Philippe by the Honor de Romer. It's the criticizing the king, actually, that's transformed from his head to pear. And this is the, again, these are the actually, this is the, from my research that in Europe, the criticism of the people started in the 15th century. So democracy is strong over there because there is a criticism, there is a history of it. So these examples actually were starting from 15th century of the criticism of the king, criticism of the some mayors. And this is the Grand Villa is a famous French cartoonist in 18th century. Some young and rich people is showing that they love themselves, but in the context of the image, it shows it differently. So when we come to the 19th century, now we are moving from the cartoonists to the more in the classic 19th century posters. This is the in that time again the protest graphic is not that much strong, because we didn't still have the World War I and II. So this image is the selling the bicycle. Look at this more illustrative ways, more pleasantly, beautifully images that is, its purpose is to selling the bicycle in a beautiful way. This is the purpose of the poster designers actually in that time. Again, this is the famous Alphonse Mucha's drawing, comic style and decorative drawing. And again, it's about the selling and reaching the certain target. Again, another bicycle selling. As I said, there is no big issues, environmental issues, political issues, then there is no criticism. There is no room for the criticism. And when the world is starting, World War I starting, then the government start to invite the people to enlist the army. And this is from the governmental side of the propaganda, actually. And the communication tool for the design is the perfect communication tool for the reaching the young people, for the young men to call for the army. And this is the Turkish World War I, and we were with the Austria-Hungarian and Germany war. And this is shows the poster. This is done not in Turkey, but I believe in Germany. And this is the famous poster, again, propaganda poster for the, again, American young people that the government asking them to join the army. These are the time that when the World War II, it's a conceptual images start to appear, because in a way that's an idea, and you need to reach people to convey the people to bring the our world, the war. And this is the Abraham Games poster. And as you see, your talk may kill your comrade. So it's a reaching to the soldiers, not to talk in secret informations. I think this is the important things. I believe that every design student should know the story of this guy. Do you know the guys? John Hertfeld. Did you hear about anything from the background? No?
Art history too.
Art history. This is because since dear Arafat told me that this is the artist, because this is an important. John Hertfeld is an important. Here's the story. John Hertfeld, he was the guy who was Dadaist. You know the movement. And Dadaist, and then he made a collage. He used the photography as a technical source, and he made a collage for the AIZ magazine. It's a communist-based magazine, and he was against the Hitler. And Hitler was a very strong, very powerful guy, but he criticized the Hitler with the ideas. Here in this work, it's it says that Adolf the Superman. It means that actually Hitler supposed to help for the people, but he was getting the help of the rich people to get into war and to get strong. So kind of like John Hertfile interpret in a way that Hitler is working for the rich people. So this is the another work. It says here in the bottom, "Hurrah, there is no butter left." Göring, this is the Göring, the guy who big commander of the Hitler, and he said in one of his speech, in Hamburg speech, "Iron has always made an empire strong. Butter and lard have made a people fat and most." So John Hertfile cleverly transformed this idea, the guy who, the army guy, he said saying that, hey, you don't have to eat butter because in the wartime, you cannot reach those food. So you need to be like the iron. So he transformed this idea in making fun of the speech. A German family, instead of eating the nice food, they are eating the iron. So these kind of images, this is another war. When the war is about to finish, this is the Hitler that John Hertfile, he made it. It says, "Still he moves." So he used the, again, collage style to criticize the Hitler, who was a big, strong power. So, and in the end, he was able to escape to the Paris because he disturbed many people over there in the army. And then after that, he went to the, Paris was invaded by the Germany, and then he was able to escape to London. This is the Soviet Russian communist propaganda poster, again using for the influence on the people. So these are the time that sharp color, but still not that much criticism. Just we saw the John Hertfile, he did it, but for the still protest graphic in poster, we didn't see that much, very much. And this is the, again, for the selling the product. And now, after 92nd World War II, the idea of the protest graphic in poster, in design, started. This is actually, some people maybe know it differently. This is the image that became the visual of the feminism, feminist idea, but is actually Westinghouse factories for the boost for the employment morale, which means that they did it actually for the workers, women workers in the factory, not for the name of the feminism, but showing the image very strongly. Some feminist leaders, they took this image and they used it on their purposes. And when we come to the, again, 1964, some designer protest that designers that were not for the selling and buying product, because we are human, we need to touch some certain issues, political issues, environmental issues. These are the what we need to do. So they kind of, this is in the history, graphic design history, this is the important statement as a manifesto. And 1968, this is the guy, Atelier Populaire, a group of designers and artists called themselves Atelier Populaire and hang thousands of the propaganda graphics. They pay their own money and in order to give the idea to the public to support the environmental and human issue. Here, it says that they are intoxicating you. So in this case, you are watching and be careful because there are some propaganda and you can be influenced by those television or radio. So when we come to the 1968, this is the one thing that I really appreciate. In the US, they are very open to criticize. I mean, recently I will show you the Trump images right now. They are, I like the idea that in a country that people freely express without insulting, but have a room to criticize. So this is the guy who was living in the US. He criticized the government at that time that they are because invading at that time the Vietnam. This is the famous poster, as you see, I think you can see that this is the freedom, liberty statue, and put in the inside of the Vietnamese boy's mouth, eat. This is the very strong images. And then this is another well-known Seymour Schwartz poster. And these guys, as I said, give the voice of the public at that time. And this is criticizing some uncle who also the representative of the government, U.S. And then this is the interesting things. This is when the U.S. Army invaded Vietnam, and they kill. This is the public I'm talking about. 247 murder, and then around 500 for them are civilians. And then poster here combines the documentary photograph, which was taken the U.S. Army photographer Ronald Huberle with the excerpt of the CBS News television. So one soldier who, in an interview, confessed that the reporter said that were there many people who killed, and then say yes, and babies, question, Q, and babies, answer, and babies, yes. So, and they made a poster. So from the photograph, they took the photograph, and this very crucial, important part of this situation, and they made a what? Political graphic. And this is the important part of the important American Civil War at that time in 1960-70. Imagine that still there is this big issue between the black and white as two human beings, but because of the phases or the skin is the color are different, but at that time, still they were struggling to get the freedom. So this is the situation, that's what happened. I am a man this is the poster image, but the story is this. Memphis sanitation workers, like these guys, was on the strike for a better life. This is they were protesting, and they were carrying this poster on their body. But Memphis mayor didn't accept this one, the better situation. So they march, striking the workers, carry the copy of the poster, declaring that I am the man. So it means that I deserve to be a much better place. So the famous guy who killed Martin Luther also joined their march. And this is another poster. What happened? The Martin Luther King Jr. led the many protests, and when he was in one city, Memphis, he was killed. When he was killed, because the next day they were planning to do a march, big march, freedom. And when he killed in a hotel, the next day, his wife, Coretta Scott, lead the crowd, and they took the poster as honoring the king, end of the racism. So from this idea turned into this as a continuity. So these are the interesting things. So when you look at the images, guys, look at it. There is no images here, but there is a statement of the idea of their feeling. It's a simple poster graphic, tells a lot of things. I am man, or honoring the king and racism. This is the Black Panther at that time, 1969, the guy who made a lot of protest graphic. And this is the movie, the D5 Bloods movie. This is the guy, Emory Douglas, he made it. This is the poster, the Black Panther, this is actually the image of the newspaper. And he was criticizing the American government, the black people, why they need to be in Vietnam. We have nothing to do with them. So he made a poster over there that crying the black man in his head. There are some violences happening against the black man. So around that time, actually, where there is the political and the social issue, then designers start to get conscious and they start to express their feeling. Here, the communist time at that time, Dan Reisinger, and he made a political poster for the people who wanted the freedom within the Soviet communist system with his creativity and idea. This is the guy from Germany. He's actually attorney. He wasn't a designer, but he was interested in the art and design, especially the political idea that he wants to express. So he often come up with political images. And here he was criticizing the Ronald Reagan, that he was bombing the many places. He was ordering it, actually. Then he made this poster that actually was kind of self-portrait of the Ronald Reagan. And this is, again, in a history of graphic designs, famous posters. Yes, this is the master of design, and this is the anti-war poster after the 1945, showing the projectile artillery shell heading straight for the opening of the cannon barrel. This is the peaceful way of expressing the idea. And when we come to the 1980 and some art world, girls who criticize some art organizations, saying that, hey, 85 of the images are the woman and body, and but 5 of them are the women. So these are the kind of criticism happening. And this is the Barbara Kruker. She was an artist. She was a graphic designer and turned into the artist. But she used the design approach. So here